So far I've defined a couple things. One, that the 5-4-1 transition, or simply just a 5-4-1 lick, happens on bars 9, 10, and 11 of the 12-bar blues. Specifically 9, 10, and resolving on the downbeat of measure 11. And right after that, the and of 1 or beat 2, whatever it ends up being, starts the turnaround. Let's go ahead and take a look at our examples. Here's example number 1. And what example number 1 says is that you don't have to have a lick that is very specific to the notes of the 5 chord. Remember, whenever we talk about theory on the harmonica, we talk as if we have a C harmonic in our hand playing in the key of G. So a 5 chord in second position are the notes D, F sharp, A, and C. Our 4 chord is C, E, G, and B flat. And our 1 chord is G, B, D, and F. So on the 5 chord, a great player is going to be playing notes relative to that 5 chord. They're going to be hitting as many D, F sharp, A, C notes as possible. Same thing for the 4 chord. They're going to be hitting as many C, E, G, B flat notes as possible. But if you follow the phrasing idea of starting on the downbeat of measure 9 and then playing through and resolving on the downbeat of measure 11, it can still work. Let me give you an example here. If I was just to improvise a little bit, and then when bar 9 comes, I'm going to play section 1, example 1 for you. You can hear that lick that I just played sounded just fine. And if I just play a looped example here of the 5-4-1, let me just play it all by itself. Here it comes. 1, 2, 3. Example 1. Sounded fine. So to prove the fact that phrasing will allow us to start on measure 9 and finish on measure 11. But be aware that was a generic lick I just played. That lick could work anywhere in the 12-bar blues. So is it bad? Well, not necessarily. I still started on 9 and resolved on bar 11. The lick sounded pretty nice. But it's not special. It's not unique to the 5 chord, the 4 chord, and the 1 chord. What I'm basically saying is that if you play generic licks on your last line of the 12-bar blues, you're using up your lick vocabulary quickly. Also, if you study great 5-4-1 licks and turnaround licks, you are playing licks that do not fit anywhere else in the 12-bar blues. So when that bar 9 comes, the 5 chord comes, and you play a lick that only works on that 5 chord, you're going to be emphasizing notes that the listener has not heard yet. So that's a real plus, is that you're playing something that's very specific to that part of the 12-bar blues. And you're also saving your quote-unquote generic lick vocabulary for the first 8 bars. So if you think about it, we're really focusing on how to develop your lick vocabulary that's very unique for 1/3 of your improvising, because that last line is 4 bars of the 12-bar blues. So let me sum up my concept here. 1, if you allow the phrasing to work properly, bar 9, bar 10 resolves on bar 11, you can pretty much use any lick. But by using licks that are specific to that 5 chord, 4 chord, and 1 chord, which is what I'm going to teach you, you're now playing something different, unique, and exciting, and you are saving your, again, quote-unquote, generic lick vocabulary for your first 8 bars. We're really blossoming your lick vocabulary. For definition's sake, example number 2 has a pickup to the 5-4-1. So let me go ahead and play that. Example 2. 1, 2, 3. Now that didn't change the fact that that was a 5-4-1 lick. Remember, a pickup is exactly that. It helps you to lead into something. So sometimes your 5-4-1 licks will have a pickup. They won't start dead on the downbeat of bar 9. Just want to make sure everyone's clear about that. Example number 3 just follows up with a turnaround. So remember that a 5-4-1 is then followed by a turnaround. So let me go ahead and play an example of that. Let me find the right track here. There you go. Had to be the last one. So here's example number 3. I guess I'll improvise a little bit. Here we go. So that 5-4-1 naturally leads into the turnarounds. And here's the neat thing. Out of the 100 some odd licks that I've written for you here of the 5-4-1 transitions, the next study, I've written, I think, at least 50 turnarounds for you. And again, they will fit together. Most of your 5-4-1s will fit with most of your turnarounds. So you can then create the entire last line of your 12-bar blues. All right, so I just wanted to create some definitions for you. Make sure that we're very clear on what area the 12-bar blues we're speaking of. 2, again, part of the phrasing idea is starting on bar 9 and then completing yourself on bar 11. And the more specific we get to the chords of the 5-4-1, the more unique the licks sound, and just in the end, the cooler they sound.